up, world?
That's all you was doing? Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Grae Area podcast.
Yeah.
Grae Area.
Woo!
I am Shakoya D.
Being Breeze.
It's your boy Damani.
Y'all want to do this again?
Nah, we good.
Oh,
good.
okay. If this is your first time joining us, this is a podcast about whatever we feel like talking about. And, yeah, we'll get into that in a second. But in the meantime, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you know every time we make an upload. And like I said, it's about whatever we feel like talking about. Love, life, music, whatever else pops in our head. But let's get started. What are we talking about today?
Today we are talking about positive self-talk, or the importance of positive self-talk.
Okay.
Just because I went live earlier, and people, every time I go live, somebody be in there, it'd be a lot of trolls trolling. And today, I had time. So I was trying to get the understanding of what do you get out of trolling. This was his excuse. It's better for me to come in people's lives and say whatever instead of saying whatever while I'm out and about. And then he was like, we asked him how old he was. He was like, I'm 20 and high. And then, what was the other thing? He said something after that. He was something that wasn't funny.
When he was about to get off, right before he got off, he had said, because we was telling him he should get a focus group and, test out his work,
Because it wasn't funny. Nobody laughed.
Work
then
out
everybody
his
in the comments was like, yeah, that wasn't it.
Is he a comedian, aspiring comedian?
I don't think so. I looked at his page.
No
It ain't no
jokes?
bio. He don't got no
No
posts.
jokes, okay. No skits?
He looked like an avatar on there. No, no skits, no posts at all.
All
But
right.
he had, before he got off, he said, I told y'all I'm not built badly. I was built wrong or something like that.
Yeah, and I was like, hold on. Positive self-talk. We got to work on that. This is the problem. This is the root of the problem. The self-talk. You got to speak love, life, positivity into yourself.
Yeah.
And he got it better.
Yeah, he ain't like that too much. He's not trying to be inspired or
So
motivated.
the importance of positive self-talk, it will take you a long way.
Did you always feel this way, or is it something that you learned along
I
your
learned
journey?
it. Dr. P.
Dr. P helped you with that?
Because I used to say little stuff like, I'm wilding. Like, what's going on? Give yourself some grace. King.
But yeah, okay.
I definitely did learn it, though. It helped a lot, though.
I feel like I'm learning. Well, I learned. I guess I taught myself initially, but I don't know if I was fully doing it correctly because I was just going based off of like social media and stuff when I was trying to create a positive mindset. But I think so. I started it, but I think that being in therapy helped me advance as far as making sure that I talk positively to myself. I'm still working on it.
That's one of the reasons why when we was doing intersectionality, he was like, "What when you wake up in the morning, King?" Positive self-talk. I reiterate that but came a long way.
How you feel about positive self-talk? Do you feel like it's necessary? Do you feel like
I think it is necessary. I think we should definitely make a habit of talking to ourselves in a way that uplifts us more so than like tears ourselves down. But I definitely had it was, how white people be cursing sometimes. I used to do that to myself. I don't know why. It was just fun to do. Like F me, like used to do like stuff like that. Just because it was fun to do it. Like I did it one time. I saw some white people doing it in the movie, and I was like, "Why would you say that?" And I said it. And I was like, I get it now. It's just like But one of the things that I learned, one of the things that I had learned to say was from Sierra, who was on a previous episode. Go check that out. Lovely episode.
I get paid I change every paycheck.
I get paid every day. It's gonna be a different episode.
Yeah. But it was like a saying she used to say is, "I love my life, I love myself. Today's gonna be a great day."
Yes,
right?
I did learn that from her.
And then when I was in college, I remember. Because whenever I would say something negative, I would just kind of change it to say I love my life or whatever. And then so now even whenever I start to feel like embarrassed or I don't know. Whenever I have like a negative feeling, I'm not even thinking about it. I just be like, I love my life, love myself, and I just like, oh wow, I didn't even realize I said that.
Yeah, being
just,
aware.
Yeah,
that's being aware of like the things that you say to yourself. Change the game.
I feel like it's also the hardest part, right? Just
being
because
aware or saying positive things to
being
yourself?
aware of the stuff that you say constantly. Just because you get in a habit, so many of us are in the habit of just saying whatever to ourselves because it's the mindset of if I can't be honest with myself, then who else can I be honest with? So then you sit there and be like, nah, that was dumb. Like you dumb. But instead of saying this thing was dumb, or this thing, or you could have made a different decision, like we start calling ourselves dumb. And then it starts to become a habit. So we're talking negatively to ourselves, or we're constantly hearing it from outside people. So then we just take in that as a habit. Some people take it in as children. Some people take it in as young adults, whatever. But I feel like because that's the way to break the habit is to make sure that you are aware of what you're saying to yourself is one of the hardest things to do. Like, to just make sure you're actually paying attention to it. Because we, a lot of times, mindlessly say things. Like, good or bad. So.
Yeah. But I also think the intention behind what you're saying matters just as much. Because I think sometimes you can say something negative, but, like, I think there's a balance that you have to have between being honest and being positive, right? Because you could be like, oh, everything's great, and like, nah, you in a terrible situation, right? And it's like, so you can almost be like sort of oblivious to it.
But you could say a negative thing, but have a positive connotation behind it. Like, dang, I could have did this different. Like, I'm not beating myself up about it, but I could have did this, and this differently. So next time, I know to do this. Like,
yeah, that's what I was saying. I was just sorry.
No.
That's what I was saying in terms of like the intention, because like even if you're saying something that's like can be deemed negative, as long as you're like, nah, like I definitely messed up. That wasn't the smartest decision I could have made, but X, Y, and Z. It's like, yeah, it can make a difference.
But even in how y'all are saying that, that's very different from if it had a negative connotation behind it. You would probably be like. You wouldn't be like, nah, I guess I shouldn't have done this, or I could have did this a different way. You'd be like, I messed up. Like, this is trash. Like, why I do this? I'm so dumb for making this decision. Your words would be different. So even in just having a different intention or a different connotation behind,
different words.
You have a different purpose in what you're telling yourself at that point. Yeah, so you use different words versus if you're just beating yourself up about it, you just go and beat yourself up about it. Like, you want to make yourself feel terrible because your goal is to beat yourself up about it.
Yeah, because I think people think that you can negative talk yourself, and I mean, I guess to some degree you can, but you can negative talk yourself into action, to doing stuff, to changing stuff. Sometimes it works.
Yeah, to a certain extent.
But I think for the majority of the time, it's not because all you feel is less of yourself, and I think a big thing for creatives in general is to separate. Like, you aren't your art. Like, your art is just an extension of whoever you are. So I think once you get to the point where you can separate it, then it's like, all right, that piece was trash. I'm not trash. That piece was trash.
Right.
But even to that extent, it'd be feeling like when we beat ourselves up about it, in a way, we trying to be perfect, or we feel like we should be perfect, or we can't make a mistake. That's the thing. Maybe for myself, that's probably, I feel like that's where it probably came from. So I wanted everything to be perfect. You were just talking earlier about everything. It's just a look.
It's a
you
look.
gotta look like you got everything together.
Right.
So it's like, dang, why even do that? But in all actuality, it's okay to make mistakes. Oh, I went right instead of going left. Not knowing that now I got a 15-minute drive before I could turn around and get to it. But I'm like, it is what it is. At least I got gas. I got gas to drive 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Turn around.
And now I was even going to say that kind of goes to my point of that I was about to make. I didn't make the point yet. But I was going to say another thing is, well, not being too negative with yourself, also not being too positive with yourself, but also knowing how to find a balance in the middle so that you can be realistic in certain situations and take certain things for what they are. So just how you were like, oh nah, that piece was trash.
Mm-hmm.
You could even look at that piece, and just because it didn't come out exactly how you wanted it to be, it might not be trash. But you have you gotta be able to separate yourself from the artwork and be like, okay, you can give it constructive criticism, or it just might be just a different piece of fire. Like, you just don't know. But until you learn how to, I guess, positively talk to yourself and uplift yourself more frequently, it's harder to take that moment to step back and be like, all right, this ain't what I was trying to do, but what is this?
Yeah.
You know? So
Yeah.
I think you need a level of, like, realisticness sometimes in order to be able to do that, which is another thing that's kind of hard sometimes, but you gotta get on track with the positive self-talk.
With the awareness, that goes back to being aware.
Yes.
Like, it's different.
Yeah. I mean, and it took I can only speak for myself. It took me a long time for me to realize, like, to be aware, like, even what you're not even just what you're saying, what you're thinking, right? To be able to think about what you're thinking about, right? To see where, all right, I feel you go out and you're hanging out with people, and something triggers you, and you're like, damn, I like, as opposed to just feeling the feeling. Now you're like, all right, why do I feel this? Why in the world is this bothering me? As opposed to you're sitting there and like, oh, I feel stupid. I feel stupid for feeling stupid. Oh, this is my emotions. It's like, oh, why am I like this? Why am I acting weird? Why are you being weird to me? Like, it's so much going on. So I think even just being aware, like you said, being aware is important. But again, you have to be aware of what you're thinking about, so that, all right, this is what I'm focusing on. So if I want something different to happen, I got to change what I'm focusing on, and then change how I'm speaking to myself, and just it's subtle stuff, because everything that you're, at least in my opinion, everything that you're saying is just a reflection of everything you're already thinking. So if you're saying the stuff like, oh, I'm so stupid, it's like, because you already thought that. That's how you already. So if you change the thoughts, you'll change what you're actually saying.
So about thoughts, I don't remember what I was watching. It was something on TikTok, but they were saying how it might not even been TikTok. I was watching something. They were saying, you're not your thoughts. You're the observer of your thoughts. Do you believe that?
I do.
Why do you believe that?
I think because I think you have to be the observer of the thought, because you're the only one that's like, you can think about what you're thinking about. So like, you have to be the one who's like, hey, like, I'm upset. It's like, how did you know you were upset? You had to be able to observe that you were upset. It wasn't necessarily, like, I think, it's hard to explain a little bit, but I think, you have to be, because you're able to identify that I am this, you have to be on the outside of this to be able to identify that this is, it's like what we're talking about, being in the moment, right? When you step out, you have to be able to step out of the moment to acknowledge a lot of times that you're in the moment, or that whatever that moment is. But until you step out of it, you can't figure out what the moment is. So I think in the same way with your thoughts, when you realize that, all right, well, I mean, I'm having a thought, I'm not that thought. Like, I'm not anger. Like, I'm not sadness. I'm feeling something. I'm observing myself feel something, but I don't think that I'm necessarily the thought, if that makes sense.
Ditto.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of like the, even if you think about it in a concept of like the mind, body, and the spirit, right? So we think of those things as three separate things, or at least I think of those things as three separate things, but they are all part of one being, right? So you have your physical, you have your mental, you have your spiritual, whatever. So like, I feel like a lot of times, kind of like he was saying, in order for us to even acknowledge that there are three parts of a being, you have to somehow be able to objectively observe, okay, your physical is observing that it's not the the spiritual, right? Your spiritual is observing that it's not the mental, and also not the body, and stuff like that. So different parts of you. So I feel like essentially, because we can have thoughts about our thoughts, and like we can analyze our thoughts as we're having the thought, I feel like we are not our thoughts. Our thoughts are an extension of us, but I'm not necessarily the exact thought.
Yeah, I think they're happening. Like they're happening to us, but they're not us in particular. Like,
To us and through us.
Yeah, exactly. And I had saw a TikTok and they was talking about a lot of the affirmation TikToks, and they talking about a lot of them, and they say they're always talking about, oh yeah, I'm a spirit having a human experience. I'm a spirit having, and it's almost like a detachment from you being human, right? And it's like, bro, as much as I want to, for me, as much as I would like to just be a spirit floating around here, it's like I'm also human. Like I can't just, for me, I don't want to just wither away. I don't want to just not take care of my body. It's not that I don't care about my body anymore. Like I'm trying to.
When I wake up, when I look in the mirror, and I'm like, oh, I am a spirit, but I'm glad I picked this shell. And even with the thoughts thing, I actually agree with y'all.
I was going to ask what your opinion. I was definitely about to ask what your opinion was on that.
But one of the main things that allowed it to actually make sense is when I'm thinking about meditation. So when I meditate now, I'm just observing. Like I'm not trying to stop myself from thinking whatever I'm thinking. I'm just watching the thoughts pass. And then be a lot of thoughts in there. Traffic.
Ooh, so I have a question. Sorry, continue, and then I'll ask my question.
No, you go ahead.
All right. I was gonna ask, do you guys think that meditation is something that has really helped, or I guess positively impacted your self-talk? Is it a tool that you've used to help with your self-talk?
For me, not with self-talk. For me, meditation is more so. Previously, meditation was more of a relaxing type of thing. So I was able to sleep better because my mind was clear. Like I actually felt rested because my mind wasn't going. And if I meditate, I'm not on my phone. So I at least got some time not on my phone before I actually go to sleep, which allows me to sleep better. My mind feels clearer, and yeah. But now I have different intentions for meditation. Now I just started meditating again yesterday, like consistently, and like something in me is like I just want to meditate, and I be seeing things Yeah.
With the glasses.
Nah, but it's fire. Like last night I seen it was purple, but it was like
Prince.
It was moving like in the circles.
Omarion?
And
Omarion in the verses.
Speed. Nah, but it was like purple, and I don't know if my third eye was opening or trying to open, but it was fire, and it just looked like something was trying to open, but I seen rings, and it was like it was. I was going through some things. It was fire. But then when stuff like that be happening, then I start thinking like, oh, it's happening, and then that mess it up.
Yeah.
So I just gotta just stay in the moment and just relax.
But then that's another example of you getting outside of the moment and observing you stepped out of the moment to be like, it's happening. Let me hop back in it real quick. Like,
oh, it's now. The time is now.
But like, what do you think?
I wouldn't say meditation necessarily helped. I mean, it did. I think it unintentionally helped with the self-talk, but that wasn't my intention going into it.
You didn't use it as a tool.
No, not at all. I was just originally I was just doing it because hey, that's what spiritual people be doing. But then.
This how they say you become spiritual.
Yeah,
they said you meditate. Let me meditate real quick.
But what I started to, two things that I started to notice. One was that as much as I wanted to try and control the thoughts, I really wasn't in control of them, right? Because one of the things my aunt used to tell me, like, she was like, all right, if you're trying to meditate and I tell you, don't think of a pink elephant, only thing you're going to see is it's going to be right. Like, dang, I can't not think of it, right? So I had tried, one of the things that I had tried to tell myself, I was like, all right, well, I mean, let's just see. Let me try something out real quick. If I tell myself, don't focus on my breathing, the entire time I was sitting there, only thing I could do was focus on my breathing. I was like, wow, that's so stupid that works. Right? And I was like, dang, am I really not in control of it? Because if I tell myself not to do it, everything in me wants to do it.
Even with that, your mind can't like decipher between don't, like it doesn't
it doesn't hear the don't.
It just
here's the thing.
The thing. It's just the thing. So,
oh, that's so wild. Because I've heard, I don't remember what, maybe it was Feeling is the Secret that we was listening to, and it was talking about if you do say affirmations, say the thing. Don't say don't in front of it. Like if you don't want to be poor, don't say I am not poor or something like that. Say I am wealthy, because if you put the don't, your energy, the universe, your spirit, God, whatever y'all want to say, is not hearing, is not processing the don't. It's not processing the not. It's processing the I am this, not the I am not whatever. So you're still bringing it about, because that's not even. So are those real words?
Don't and not and.
Yeah, like do other languages use? I guess in like Spanish they put no in front of certain things.
The French.
A connoisseur right now.
I mean, I know a little bit of Japanese. They
moon things. Little Adobe.
But one of the things, it was, now that you mentioned that, their sentences are a lot more. So they had they had the whole sentence, and then at the end of it, it just says it's either negative or positive. It's not. So it's I eat fish, and then at the end of it, it's negative, positive. That's all. That's really all it is. So they don't have conjunctions like how we do, like can't, don't, or whatever. It's like
I'm gonna look more into that. I'm definitely going. I love learning. I love learning about languages and learning language, so I'm gonna look into that. But I probably have to dig like real deep into the ancient languages or whatever. But yeah, I forgot where we was at.
Meditation.
But, yeah,
that's what I was. But yeah, so after the whole pink elephant thing, when I started meditating, I just kind of was just breathing and just seeing what would come, and then like, all right, I'm thinking about this, and I would almost watch it like it was a car driving by, like just kind of like just watch it and then just see what the next, like, and the next thing you know, I'm thinking about a house, I'm thinking about a credit score, I'm thinking, or just whatever I'm thinking about, and just stuff is just going through, and then by the time my timer clicks, it's like I've thought about so many things that I didn't necessarily intend to think about. It just kind of happened. So I think now I guess I'm just more aware of, hey, this was a random thought that came out of nowhere, or maybe it came from a specific place, and I know exactly where it came from, but I'm more aware of where the actual negative or positive thought came from. Mm-hmm. What about for you?
I think it helped me once I started doing it consistently, which I need to start doing it consistently again. Dang, that's a way of me not focusing on what I'm doing, but focusing on what I'm not doing. Anyways, working on that in therapy. But I didn't originally use it as a tool for positive self-talk. I do think, but when I started my positive self-talk, it was a part of my routine. So I had like a positivity wall. So I would read the positivity. I would wake up, pray, meditate, read the positivity wall. And then start my day or whatever. So I didn't use it as that, but I think it aided in my overall positivity, because I was able to really, like you said, clear your mind and also assess the thoughts that I was actually thinking. You know, just give my mind room to breathe and actually just think things freely. So yeah, I think that it's important, I guess, in your journey, but I don't necessarily know. I've never used it as a tool for positive self-talk, and I don't know if you will be able to, now that just listening to y'all talk and now that I'm thinking about it, I don't know if you would actually be able to use it as a tool for positive self-talk, just because your thoughts are your thoughts and they just be thinking whatever they want to think a lot of times. So like when you're meditating, you can try to steer your thoughts in a certain direction. You can try, but a lot of times that doesn't really help the meditation process, at least in my experience. it kind of takes me out of it, or I don't really get anywhere for real if I'm just trying to control my thoughts the whole time.
Yeah. I was gonna say, I think the only way that at least from stuff that I read, was the only way to control your thoughts, which isn't even really the controlling, is like the kind of not mess with your subconscious, but kind of guide your subconscious and like how you feel. So like all of your like stuff that you're not even aware that you had a thought about because you felt something a while ago. So I think however that works, because it's funny, I was just talking to y'all about it was a TikTok about the dude in the military, and he was talking. Maybe I was talking to you about it. He was saying one of the things that they did to get people to stay, or to get people to really be all in is like when they were working out, they would have them sing certain songs, and like they're singing the songs, and in the songs it's like, I believe, I can do whatever, and it's like because they're pumped up, like they're working out, it's like the song is keeping them going, and it's like subconsciously they start to believe.
Same thing when people be sleeping. Like you can listen to stuff while you sleep, or if you focus on cooking, the stuff that you're listening to in the background, doing work, homework, like stuff that's in the background that you're not really paying attention to, that's what's actually targeting your subconscious mind. So that's how people be doing that.
I'd be like weary of listening to stuff in my sleep just because I need to know what you're saying. I need to listen to it fully while I'm awake, and then I could let it play while I'm asleep. I don't need you hopping in my subconscious while I'm asleep. I don't like it. It bothers me. Yeah. There's this one, I had like this album full of like positive things, and the last one is a guy saying like positive affirmations. And one time I forgot to put one of the songs on repeat, because if I'm falling asleep to it, I just need the instrumental. And it got to that thing, and I woke up so fast. He was like, "You are rich. I am rich." I was like, "Hold up! Who is in my house?" I didn't like it at all.
No one would be like,
I didn't like it at all. So I'll listen to stuff in the background or whatever, but I don't know. I also be trying to steer clear of stuff where people are talking. I like the Hertz music where it's just instrumental. I don't always want to hear other people talking to me. I can say these things to myself, but that's just me.
Yeah, I don't mind it as long as because I started listening to like certain audiobooks, like portions that I know I liked a lot, and I'll just like have it play on repeat, because like, all right, I already know how I feel about it, but just kind of like letting it so that I can really like think about this when I don't have to, or do this. Yeah, have this thought in my head in times when I need to think about it, or so if it's a time of crisis, I don't know. But in those times.
What is happening?
It's a crisis. But in those times, it's like I don't have to. I can just feel, and I don't have to actually think about. Oh damn! What did they say to do in this book? What did they say to do in this book? It's like nah. Just for some reason, I just remember it, and I just kind of feel the urge. Because I mean, everything else we've been doing, from school, from jobs, it's like they trained us to do stuff that we didn't even.
You could do that with
eyes. It's like
gas emergency. I still know that one.
The bell ring. All right, time to go. It's time to go. Like
it's wild. Like working from home. Normally, at my last job, I used to tell people I was going to the bathroom, but I have so much time. I'll be outside, one arm, laptop. Got so much time. Like, all right, I'm about to go to the bathroom real quick. Use the bathroom. All right. Wow, it's only a couple. Let me cook.
Yeah. Right. That's why I be like BRB, because I'm about to try and do as much stuff as possible within this next 10, 15 minutes.
I don't even have to say BRB.
I do.
It just gotta, as long as I'm getting my work done, and I be feeling like I be moving so slow. Come to find out, I'll be one of the fastest people working. And I'll be like, really? It's like, yeah, y'all the all-stars. It's like, oh, wow.
you're getting a raise.
My feet really kicked up now.
Really?
Not even doing stuff everybody else doing.
Told you.
Yeah, and I mean,
Go ahead.
no, I was gonna say, but even still, like you having to retrain yourself, and I think the same thing with the thoughts. You just kind of have to retrain yourself because some of the stuff, it's not most of the stuff isn't even stuff that you would have thought of until somebody says something. Like whether in America it's like the thought process. Hey, you go to high school, you go to college, you get a job out, and it's like some people they don't even give it a second thought. It's like, all right, this is exactly what I'm supposed to do.
Me now, I wouldn't have went to college. I'm glad I went to college, but me now, originally I didn't want to go.
I mean, me neither.
But I just went because that's what you're supposed to do. My parents expect me to go to college, so I guess I'm gonna go to college. I only applied to like a couple colleges, a couple universities. I'm a scholar.
Scholar breeze.
But I wouldn't have went. And knowing what I know now, I wouldn't have went. But I met amazing people. I met some dope people, great experiences, and it got me here. So I'm grateful for going. I wouldn't be in Atlanta if I didn't go.
Yeah, I was gonna say the irony of it all is you needed all of that to be the current you, so you can't go back and not be, you know.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. Yeah, I don't regret it.
I would still go to college.
I would too. Yeah, it was fun.
I wanted to go to college. Yeah, I actually wanted to go to college, but a part of me, so like looking back on things, like a part of it was because of like, you know, supposed to be what you do, mom and dad, making them happy, whatever. But I've always planned on going to college. But I gotta probably think about this. I don't know if I was planning my life based on what I really wanted to do, or if I was planning it based on, you know, because I've been planning since I was like 5. So it's like this is what it was already ingrained in me that college would be, you know, school, high school, college, you know, and so on and so forth. I know I didn't need to go to college. Now I know after going to college that I didn't need to go to college for what I'm working toward. But I'm glad that I went to college for the experience, for getting out of here, I think it helped me to also realize that I didn't need to move back to Jersey. I don't know what I would be doing or what my life would look like if I hadn't gone to college.
Yeah, I don't either.
Yeah, I don't. You know, it's funny. One of the days it was right after we graduated high school. I remember I was sitting on my bed and I was just like thinking about, because it was, you know, the in between period where you haven't gone to college yet.
Yeah.
You're just kind of sitting there, and I was like,
That was beautiful.
But it almost scared me because I was like, bro, this. It just felt like I was looking into like an endless, just I don't know how long the time is. Like, it just felt like I had no gauge of how long time was gonna be. It really felt like I was at the edge of a desert, just staring out, and it was like I'm looking at the sun. I have no clue where the edge is gonna be.
Mine was completely different. I was waking up to birds chirping, no alarm. I was like, oh, this is beautiful. I can get used to this. This is nice. I wasn't working. I ain't have a care in the world.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. And then, what happened? Oh, yeah, then I actually graduated. And then I knew I was going to college. And the college I was supposed to be going to, I didn't go there. During the summer, I was applying, talking back and forth with the coaches so I could go to Alabama State. And yeah, so I had applied in like June. Then they told me everything went through in like July. Then I had to be there in August.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's how that happened.
Yeah, my experience was different. I mean, I was working. I'm pretty sure I was working. I worked before I went to college, more than likely. And then
Barnes and Nobles.
I think I was still at Barnes and Nobles.
Scholar job.
Yeah, I was at Barnes and Noble still. So yeah, I was working, and then I had applied early to colleges, so I already knew where I was going. And I already knew my scholarships and stuff because I had got all that. I applied everywhere early. I didn't even wait for anywhere. I don't know. I don't know what my summer felt like that summer. I didn't feel the whole waking up to birds chirping. I didn't feel like I was looking out into the desert. I just felt very structured and like, all right, college is next. And I was chasing behind some little dusty boys, so it was like, it was a regular summer for me. It felt like, I feel like I didn't feel like what's next, because I knew what was next. And I didn't feel like I could get used to this because I knew it was about to change at the end of 3 months.
Yeah, I knew it was changing too. I'm glad I went. And where I was going, one of the coaches tried to tell me I wasn't going. Oh, they tried to persuade me to stay by telling me if I go there, I wasn't going to win. I'm like, hold on.
I know what school.
What Mario say? How could you
ever doubt me?
Like,
How could you ever doubt? All right, I'm
took that as a sign of disrespect. So at that point, I was like, I'm definitely not coming. Like, I'm definitely not going there. Mm-hmm. So the roommate that I was supposed to have, I had messaged him. I was like, yeah, I'm not coming to the school. I'm going somewhere else. And then I was like, word.
Yeah, it's funny because for me, I remember one of the times I had a convo with my boy, and it was right before SAT time. So I was like, I'm about to go to I'm gonna get a great score on my SATs. About to go to NYU or something crazy. It's gonna be fire.
St. John.
I wanted to go to St. John too, and I was like, I wanted to go to. I was like, you know what? Actually, maybe I'll go to UCLA. You know what I'm saying? I'm a ball. You know what I'm saying? I'm a ball. You know, and then. Like after the SATs, I ain't do good enough for me to go to NYU at the time. But after the SATs, I just kind of remember like when I had to actually make the decision. I'm like, damn, I don't know where I want to go. Maybe I want to go to Howard, and that's why when I wanted to go to Howard. I had told my cousin, and she was like, don't go to Howard because that's gonna be the only time where you're only around black people for real. And you don't in life that's not gonna be a reality for you. And I understand what she was saying,
but that's not true.
It's not. I mean I live in Atlanta, so like it's definitely not true. But I mean up until that point, I mean it was like I was in mostly white settings. I was the only black person in white settings, so she wanted me to be able to maneuver and just like know what that felt like in real life. But
I don't think that like. For undergrad, I think every black person should go to a HBCU. Then, like, master's and up, then go somewhere else. Just because it's a different experience. And even in those settings, the black people that you're talking to and interacting with, they be so smart and so intelligent, and they move different. Mm-hmm. So when everybody knows how to code switch, yeah, everybody know how to do that. But it's certain things that you get from HBCU, like undergrad, that you not going to get.
I was supposed to be transferring like 15 times. Well, I was supposed to go to Howard as well. I got in. But when I went to the open house that they had, they was telling me they didn't have my major that I wanted. So I was like, all right, well, this is a dub. I was supposed to be going there with my friend.
But even with that, like, me applying for colleges, I didn't know what I wanted to do. Actually, I did know what I wanted to do. But me thinking about what other people may think or say, it was like, I was supposed to be in Italy. I was really going to go to Italy.
Yeah, that was, I thought you was going to go. That's what I was hoping you went. Shoot. I'll take a flight out there.
You would be the only one.
Nah. I don't care. I flew out there by myself before. But that's crazy too, because even just getting back on the topic of self-talk, a lot of outside influences, they influence your self-talk. Even a lot of your decisions that you make, like, because, and me being in high school, I didn't know that the person that told me they didn't have my major, and it was multiple people that was there that was telling me that I couldn't double major. So then I was like, well, I'm not going here. Turns out they had my major, and I would have had no problem double majoring. But because other people said that, I didn't know they weren't faculty. I'm in high school. These people look big. So it's like outside influences or outside people, a lot of times they influence the way that you think, the way that you talk to yourself, the decisions that you make, and you gotta block out that noise so that you can start talking to yourself, and even just thinking about what you actually want. Like,
Definitely. It's a lot of the times I don't even know if we realize that we don't know what we want because we've been hearing people tell us like what the path is supposed to be, and we don't even think about whether or not we actually, if that is beneficial to us. Like, cause, and it's understandable because like a lot of our parents, they came from humble beginnings, right? So they're like, all right, I want better for you. This is what I've seen is a success in.
Or this is what I wanted, so this is what I want you to do. You know,
and they're gonna, and again, that's why when you're especially talking to kids just absorb everything. So like, if your parents aren't necessarily giving you the best model for how to speak to, how they're speaking to you when it comes to time for you to speak to you, it's like you're just gonna be saying the same thing. Yeah, it's gonna be like, oh, you dumb, oh, you like you stupid, like that's, and it's like you would have never said that had you not heard somebody else say that before. You know.
So I just found out what I actually wanted. Well, I'm still learning what I actually want, but it wasn't until I was living by myself when I was like started to learn myself and really see or understand that everybody I was able to notice how everybody's thoughts came before my thoughts, if that makes sense. So like when I'm thinking of a decision, my dad his voice might pop in my head. Oh, but what my mom gonna say? Dang, will Cole do this? Or I hit somebody up like, do you think I should before I even answer the question? Because I don't value. I don't value my decision making over theirs.
And you, go ahead.
No, you good.
Okay, I was gonna say that's so crazy because what I dealt with that for a long time. I'm still like working through that stuff, you know. And one thing that I realized, or that I'm realizing, is not even that it's not just that I didn't value my thinking over other people's thinking. I didn't trust myself enough to make the decision.
Yeah, that's what I was.
But then with that, what decisions was we making? Like,
we wasn't making no decisions.
We wasn't making any decisions. So,
not even picking what we eat for dinner.
But that's and that's in making that, in realizing that I had realized that like a few weeks ago, right? I'm writing down stuff that I think, and I'm like, all right, in terms of the decisions I make. The reason why, for me, that I've typically liked to let other people make the decision is because it feels like they're gonna make the right decision. Like I'm trusting their decision making skills over mine. When it's like, all right, well, I mean, what if they're wrong? And it's like,
and then it's not on me.
Yeah, then it's not on me, right?
Especially as an adult, everybody got their own best interests in mind. So if they making a decision. They making a decision that's going to benefit them first, and now it's like hopefully it benefit me as well.
Right.
So if I'm like, all right, yeah, what you want to eat, and they pick Chick-fil-A, what I'm gonna eat? I don't eat meat.
Right.
When I'm gonna get mac and cheese, I don't eat dairy either. So I'm gonna just end up with fries. So like, they're full. Stomach growling. I just got some fries.
Right.
So, yes, I say that to say, now that I'm able to make my own decisions, I do my best to make my own decisions, even if I'm right or wrong. I just try to make the effort to make those decisions.
But I think that also goes along with, in order to make the best decision, even like with what we were saying when you were talking about you trust other people to make the decision, because. And it's like, if they're wrong, then it's like, well, it's not on me. It's like, you have to trust yourself to make the decision, but also be bold enough to take accountability for whatever the result is, whether it's positive or negative. And I think that aids in your confidence. It aids in your trust with yourself, and then it also aids in your positive thinking and your self-talk, because that's the only way that you can grow. You got to take accountability for the decisions that you make, the mistakes that you make, whatever it is, and then learn from it, and then you could be like, you know what, you're not stupid. You're great. You smart. You did this. You did all of these things right. It just didn't work out this time. So we're gonna tweak this here. We're gonna tweak that there. Yeah. So I think,
and it's so much power in making a decision. You never realize. At least I've never realized how much power it is, because when I forget where I read this at, but they were saying when you have a choice between going left and go right, the most important thing is that you just choose, regardless of what it is, because. All right, if you choose and then you made the right decision, it's like, all right, I made the right decision. If you choose and you made the wrong decision, I made the wrong decision. But the power was 100% of the beat. There was no outside factors. It was like, so I think it's so important for you to actually make the decision for yourself. And just keep moving.
That's what adulting is. Like, just making decisions. The more decisions you make, the more comfortable you become with making decisions. The more comfortable you become with making decisions, the easier it is to make the tough decisions.
Because it's like practice. You start making decisions. It might start with little decisions, and then you get that confidence so that you're okay with making larger decisions, or decisions when it comes to money, or when it comes to just like your well-being in general, or even just what you want for dinner.
Yeah, and even putting yourself first.
Yeah. Yes.
That's a decision.
I'm
setting boundaries. That's a decision.
That's a huge decision.
Yeah, all of it is, and I might have been watching the video, but they were talking about how many decisions I think there's like an actual number of how many decisions we make a day, and like once you hit a certain limit, you start getting tired. Like you're not functioning because you made. And it's like every single decision. Like, all right, when I wake up, do I grab my phone? Do I grab what? Do I brush my teeth now? Do I brush my teeth in 5 minutes? Like, it's so many decisions that you're making. And I mean, it's a lot to be conscious of every single one, but I mean that's part of being part of life. Like you have to choose, and that's the beauty of it. Is because if I chose wrong, I learned so much. If I chose right, I'm still all right. Cool, that's fire. I made the right decision. Let's learn something. Like
even with that, even just knowing that, it's easier to prioritize what you're doing when you get up, or how your day goes, your routine, what time you getting up. Okay, so I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do the stuff that take the most time first, or the stuff that gonna take the most effort first. So I know, okay, me cooking, putting the kids to bed, walking the dog, I don't gotta think about that. I'm gonna do it anyway. So I say that for the end of the night,
and this also goes back to knowing yourself and learning yourself more and more each day, because. Then you'll start to know, well, this is going to take more energy, this isn't, or this is something that will bring me energy, so I'll do that first so then I can get this other thing done. But it's all a learning process. You just got to welcome it, be confident in it, and then also, like that fact right there is really about to make me look at my entire day so differently.
Yeah, I too.
But in that, I just got to recognize, like, the decision is mine. Like, and that changes things a lot when you know that there are a lot of things that we don't necessarily have control over, but there are a lot of decisions that you make each and every day, which means that you have way more control than you believe, than you're led to believe, or whatever the case may be. So the things that you can control, make the decision. Like, that's important.
Yeah, because and that's the crazy part, is even when you decide to not do anything,
that's a decision.
Yeah, so I think it's way more, but the results of that is now you're just kind of with the flow, like going with, not even in a good way, because you can go, you can be in the flow and it's not a good thing. So like you just kind of flowing with whatever everybody else is doing, and it's like now you should be active part of your life. Like you should be the person who's making the decisions in your life. It takes a long time for a lot of us to realize that, because again, from same thing from when we're younger, people are talking to us, people are telling us what to do, telling us what we should say, telling us what we should eat, and it isn't until you like figure it out for yourself and then make the decision about what you're gonna do about it.
That's when you start realizing it.
It wasn't until like last year or the year before I realized like I'm not answering to nobody. Like, I'm not answering to anybody if I don't feel like it. I'm an adult. Like, I'm grown.
But yeah.
I'm not asking you for help. Then you can't tell me what to do.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's oh, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, and, I mean, regardless, I could be asking you for help, and you still not gonna tell me what to do. I have a choice whether or not I'm gonna listen to what you're saying. I appreciate. Okay, thank you. It's like the only time somebody can tell you what to do is when you give them the power to tell them what to do, but you have to.
Yeah.
You know.
That's true. I forgot what I was going to say.
God dang, got to be more careful.
No, but like even just I don't know. I feel like the decision thing is so mind-boggling, but so it opens your mind up when you realize it. But not only when you realize, but when you accept it. I think that's the key thing. Because I used to be very indecisive, and it used to be annoying. Like I used to be so indecisive that it would annoy me, and I didn't realize that I had the power to make the decision. Like I was looking for validation a lot of times. I'll be texting you and Shay and like or mom and dad about stuff, and or even you just like, hey, so do you think I should do this? And then I get mad because I don't like what you said. Like I don't like your decision that you made for me. But it's like, Code, just make your own decision. This is your life. But I feel like you gotta recognize that the decision is yours, but also like accept it. Like you have to accept the fact that this decision is yours, no matter what it is. Even if you choose to follow after somebody, that decision is yours. Like that point blank period.
Yeah,
So.
and you gotta decide that you're going to speak positively to yourself.
Yes,
because at the end of the day,
that's what I was going to say.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, if you don't decide to do it, if you can 100% decide to be on autopilot your entire life, and nobody's gonna say nothing to you.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody care.
Yeah, because nobody knows, right? So, but
nobody knows, nobody cares.
And so, but you can also decide I'm gonna fly this. Like it's gonna be me. Like I'm gonna take charge of it, and I think you have to be intentional about again what you're saying to yourself or how you're saying. Because I don't necessarily think you need to say affirmations.
I don't think you need to, but
yeah, I mean,
if you do,
yeah, because I mean, affirmations are only just you affirming with something you already know. If you don't actually know it, then it's like the whole point of me saying something to myself. If I don't actually believe it, if I don't actually feel like it's true, then it's like I'm just saying words.
Yeah.
But and that goes back to the intention. But yeah, I think almost losing my train of thought. But ship it sail. But yeah, it's just important to just be mindful of how you're talking to yourself, and then,
right.
Like, just choosing to do that.
And be mindful of the intention behind your words, but choose yourself. On this day, choose ye thyself. That's not
Four scores and
Hear ye.
Nah, but yeah, it's important to make sure you choose yourself, you choose the decision for yourself, and talk to yourself nice. Like, talk to me nice. Talk to me nice.
Oh, no talking at all.
Listen.
Yeah, the silence be better sometimes.
Sometimes it do, because once if it's too much negative self-talk, and also you got to choose to redirect your thoughts if you are talking negative to yourself or about everything.
Yeah.
Learning how to redirect your thoughts in a positive direction is very positive. But we'll get into that on another episode. Y'all got any final thoughts on positive self-talk?
Stay blessed, stay black, people. If you're not black, just stay blessed.
Thank you for joining us for another episode of the Grae Area Podcast.
Yeah.
Grae Area. Woo!
Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And we will see you next time. Bye!
Adios!
Yeah.